Hello, all my Aries. Welcome to your turkey reading. It's going to be a pick a card. And of course, this is for this beautiful November, which is, formerly known in the United States as the Thanksgiving season. So what we're going to be focusing in on is what can I grow through gratitude. So that's what we're going to just be asking the creator. You'll have a choice, of course, of 3 different turkeys to choose from. So you have turkey number 1, turkey number 2, and turkey number 3. And if you chose number 2 or number 3, timestamps will be in the description box below. And you can, of course, choose as many of these as you want, but we're going to jump in to turkey reading number 1. All right, my Aries, if you chose turkey reading number 1, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Archetypes deck of the Wild Unknown. And we're just going to see what first the creator just wants you to know about what you can grow through gratitude. And one more time here. All right, creators, so for those that chose turkey number 1, what would you like them to know? There we go. So we're already off the bat. We're just gonna, it's the top one that they're wanting here, and you have the dead end. So I love that. Stop, just stop. Right, and we're gonna put that down here. We're gonna build a turkey. With cards today. So we're going to start off, this is the body, and let me just get to that card here. All right, pardon me. So this is the closed door, the final chapter, the impasse. So contrary to what its name implies, the dead end is very much alive. It is a force that stops us from moving forward as planned. It is thick, dense, uncompromising, a wall beyond all walls. With every bramble, thorn, and stone, it simply states, "No more, child, you've reached the last page of this chapter." It is natural to resist its very resistance and struggle even harder to make our way, to prove our point, to hold on to what was. In this way, we fight with life itself. From a mythic perspective, the end you face is very much a beginning. There are doors opening all around you, just not the one you planned on walking through. If you're honest and courageous enough to accept, adjust, and adapt, the dead end becomes known as life's beginning. I love that. And it says, note that in most stories and movies, the moment the protagonist reaches the dead end, something riveting happens. You are the protagonist, right? In any hero's journey, it takes this climactic point where you discover the hero inside of you, right? Because usually in movies, right, there's some person that's going through such tough situations, and these endings and things are happening, but it is this spark for this new beginning where the hero within comes boldly forward. So it says, reflect on dead ends in your past that led to unimaginable wonders. The moment you accept the ending, a feeling of grace will arise. Doors begin to open, both inside you and in the world. So a feeling of grace will arise, and doors begin to open both inside you and then also out in the world. And I love that. It talks about when you're in the light of this energy, then you have this acceptance, this humility, this relief, this reverence for change. When you're in the shadowy side of this energy, then there's inertia, there's stuckness, there's tension, there's unconscious gripping, right? And I love they mentioned to go deeper, look into Kenny Rogers' song, The Gambler. Also, Donny Hathaway's Giving Up. is a theme. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Donny Hathaway. Sorry, Donny. But we can look into that and find out what more information that brings to go deeper into these energies. And I love all this because, we asked, what can I grow through gratitude? Well, when you're thankful for your endings and you look at them as happening for you and not to you, when you're grateful for them, then that ignites this new life's beginning. So it grows this new beginning for you. So I am loving that message so far. And next we're going to add the head of the turkey, because this is the body, right? And then we're going to pull a card here from the Crystal Medicine Oracle and just see what medicine will help with accepting this, endings. And so, of course, you'll know either you have had an ending recently or in your life that has kind of blocked you because you are investing a lot of energy into the story of what that ending meant about you, right? Or you've bought into that popular opinion on how you're supposed to feel about that ending. But I love this is because this gratitude for an ending actually switches. And I know it's difficult. I mean, especially like if it's someone passing or someone leaving your life, right? You're like, oh my God, how could I ever be thankful for that? When we start to look higher and bigger, we understand that everything in our life is happening for us and no one ever ends. There's never truly a dead end for our bodies, right? It always, we might leave this rental vehicle, but even though we're not physically here, we're always spiritually here. And so when we can see endings in a whole new light in that it was planned, it's not an out of control surprise that every ending in our life is scripted for us, for our journey. And we actually, in the beginning, before we came down here, we decided what all these fated events were going to be. So we actually, our little human self is surprised, but our higher self is not, because we knew it. We already put in for all these things to happen because we wanted to go through all these experiences. So let's take a look here and see what medicine will help with these endings. What additional messages you have for those that chose turkey number 1. There we go. Let's put these over here. Yep, you got self-mastery, and you've got spider is your medicine animal, and the medicine crystal is topaz. This is card number 27. So we're going to put the head right here. I know it's got a big head, but just think that it's this perspective. The body's further away, the head's closer, right? It's not going to be a perfect turkey, okay? All right, let's see what message this card brings. So self-mastery. You are your own master, always have been and always will be, and it's time to embrace all of who you are in its totality. This card is a sign that it's time to take your mastery to a whole new level, a whole new beginning, right? Life is full of opportunities and lessons that guide us to the realization that everything we require lies within, and we have our own answers to our questions. When we take the time to honor and awaken the master within, only then does this aspect of ourselves have the opportunity to shine in its full glory. To master something takes time, commitment, discipline, strength, and courage, and you have these aspects available to you at all times in abundance. Have you been looking outside of yourself for answers? Are you going through some challenging and uncomfortable situations in your life? Are you being tested around your values? These are all powerful signs you are awakening to a deeper sense of your own self-mastery. You're asked to be patient with yourself through this time as a deeper sense of clarity births within you. You're connecting deeply to your inner wisdom and weaving your magic into the world on the deepest level. It's time to accept, honor, and trust yourself in this powerful process as you step deeply into your mastery. I'm loving that. Before I read about the spider and the topaz, definitely that's so fitting, because when you accept the ending of these old ways of thinking, these old belief patterns you've had about your worth, right? All these external things that we're using to define yourself. And so when there's endings of these external things, whether it's, a relationship of some sort, whether romantical or family or work or friends or whatever, people change or people pass away. If it's defining your worth on a situation like a job or education or something like that, those things are also never forever, right? They're all temporary, they're unstable. Those things are ever changing. And then things, if it's whether it's something you own or your own body, any of these props in the outside world, if you're defining your worth by any of those, then you feel unstable, right? But when you find your inner self-mastery and you find that you're more than just this human, little avatar experiencing this life, but like I mentioned in the beginning, you are this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. You are this master, right? Then once you connect to that part of yourself, you connect to that beautiful energy on the other side, the unconditional love of the creator of all things. We are made of unconditional love. When that becomes your solid foundation, then you have this self-mastery. The endings, you don't, as things in the external world end and go away, you're like, okay, let's see what is next. What did I learn from that? How did I grow? And you can look at it in a whole different perspective than as this dead end. It's like, nope, it's a new beginning, and we are eternal. So things never end. We just go on to the next adventure, the next journey, the next adventure, the next journey, right? Now, the medicine of the spider says spiders are ancient creatures that have been around in abundance for millions of years. Spiders a powerful ally and medicine to support and assist us in weaving our medicine and mastery into the world. She reminds us to be patient with ourselves in the process, that we're deeply connected to and part of the web of life and all its divine wisdom, and we can access this wisdom at will. When spider shows up, it's time to tune into your mastery and birth it into your world. Yep, so dead end and birthing. Crystal topaz. Topaz, of course, aids in the powerful process of self-mastery. It's a potent medicine to align to and manifest your higher purpose. It assists in clearing and balancing the mind, creating clarity and a deeper sense of inner peace. So I love that. So definitely these work together with what you're grateful for, with the grateful for the endings. You have this new beginnings, which take you into this new journey of self-mastery. All right, we're going to get some clarification from this everyday tarot here. And these are going to be the feathers on the body of the turkey. So let's see what else the creator wants you to know about what you can grow through gratitude. All right, creator, what else do you want? Those that chose number one. Okay, there's number one. Number two, number three. What else? Okay. Actually, I feel like that one on the bottom is calling. So, so the first card you have is the Five of Wands. And Wands is your fire energy. It's your drive, it's your ambition. And really, this is about mastery. Because it starts off, it seems like, oh my gosh, there's this struggle going on, right? And I always have this movie that plays in my head with the Five of Wands, where it starts off with, there's these Shaolin monks that are in this battle, and they're all fighting with these wands with their long sticks, right? And so they're aggressive and they're beating each other and they're knocking each other down, and it gets down to where one person wins, and then the story transforms. It transforms from it being like there's this war type of battle going on where the other ones help each other up and they all kid with each other and they go and get something to eat because they were in the monastery, and they were Shaolin monks that were not actually at war, but they were practicing. They were going through that process of training. And so it was everything that was happening was to help bring up the skills, bring up the awareness, show them how gifted they are to become masters, right? So the self-mastery totally fits into that, vision that I see with that card. And so what this is representing is, these things that you've gone through, everything in your life, all these fated events, all these experiences have been to help you understand who you really are by experiencing, the pain of getting hit by a stick. You realize, okay, I can now learn to block that, pain that comes and avoid, or, learn to move out of the way and not get hit by that stick anymore. And so there's this beautiful evolutionary mastery energy that comes with this, knowing that that you're not being attacked, you're not having this action made to you, but that this whole process is for you, right? They're not doing it, the other four of your fellow monks weren't doing it for their own pleasure. They were doing it because they knew that if they all four come at you for your training, that's going to help you move to your next level. So you kind of change this mental piece from there's all these villains out there to attack you to there's all this support that's helping you grow. Because everyone you experience, any of those situations that we mentioned before, when they come to your face, they are a mirror showing you how you feel about yourself, and they're bringing you messages for you, right? And you also have the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is about this learning of giving and receiving. I love that in this deck they show the bright and this one. So this is your lower human self and your higher spiritual self. And it's about bringing this balance and this awareness into this life. The Pentacles are your outside world. So realizing that in the outside world, there, is this, I call it the codependency card too, because in the outside world, we have so much, like we talked about, our worth dependent upon what we receive from the world, and if we don't receive from the world, we feel like we are worthless, because if we were worthy, we'd be getting all this abundance coming in. Well, on the flip side of that, we also have this belief that I am only someone if I can give and help others, right? So that codependency thing kicks in, and I always admit I'm a recovering enabler in codependent relationships, which means that I used to have this belief that if no one needed me, then I was worthless, and why be around me? So I felt that people only were around me because of what I could give them, right? And if I couldn't give them anything and they tried to give to me, it would scare me, because then that meant that they weren't going to be around very long, because they were going to go find what they needed from someone else instead. It was beyond my imagination that someone would just want to be around me because of who I am, not on what I could give them. And so there's this beautiful energy that comes with this awareness, especially when you connect to your mastery with the brighter side of that scale. When your self-love, when your awareness of this powerful being that you are comes into play, then you're like, I don't need, to have that validation from the outside world. If someone doesn't want to be around me, that's no sweat off, our back. We have everything we need inside of us. Everything on the outside, instead of it defining us, just becomes extra above and beyond, because you're already full when you connect to your higher mastery. So I love that this is coming in here for you, letting you know. It's like this, you're seeing the ending of old ways of thinking and seeing things from a higher perspective. It starts off like life is a struggle and people are out to get you, to, oh, everyone is a mirror for me, helping me become my master. The Six of Pentacles. The Pentacles are, this giving and receiving. It's like I have to give, or from a human standpoint, I have to give in order to be worthy of anything, or if I'm not receiving, then I'm not worthy for somehow, and it just becomes all this extra. You have everything you need, everything that's coming in and out of your life is for you. So this gratitude for the struggles and the mirrors, gratitude for when those feelings of lack or those fears of you're not able to give come up, because they help transform and bring this true mirror of who you really are to pass. Otherwise, if you didn't have these endings of these ways of thinking and these beliefs, you would continually stay in that feeling of chaos and that feeling of low self-worth and limitedness, total opposites of who we are. But because you're coming across this reading at this time, and this is probably not the first type of reading you've gotten on this, but this is this affirming of, yes, you are more than you ever thought you were. And all these things keep on pointing you back to yourself, because these external things are just being disappointing on purpose. Because when you're disappointed enough, you turn back into you. And then here's the Ace of Wands. This is your spiritual energy. So this is all about your ability, your spark, your ambition, your aha inspiration. But it is also because it's of the fire. This is of your higher self, your spiritualness, your master, within you as well. So this is that energy that's coming in. And as you connect more to your mastery here, you get this energy that returns to you. You feel that power within you, because when you're trying to maintain all these things on the outside, trying not to have them end, right? You're trying to do so much on the outside world that all this energy is just out there instead of in here. And as you start to realize that all those things don't define you, that all those things don't determine your worth, and then that energy comes back into you, and then that helps you just invest more in your training, right, and more in your advancement here. Excuse me. Yep, because here you go, got 10 of Pentacles. So definitely Pentacles is about your outside abundance. You're just feeling, 9 of Pentacles is like when you're standing alone in your own little garden and you're feeling self-fulfilled and all that. And the 10 of Pentacles is when you're filling up and flooding out to the world. So you're not only impacting you and your journey, but all that love and this mastery that comes, this energy fills you up. That unconditional love fills you up and flows out into the world. And so it's called like the legacy card. And it mentioned in here talking about finding your purpose, your higher purpose. Then when you have this energy that's filling you up and this confidence and this wholeness from within, then it does impact other people. And you can, by the life you live, people will witness it and go, wow, I want that. How did you do that? Why, this new way of thinking that you have, finding your love within and not on the outside. So intriguing, tell me more. They come to you. They want to know why are you suddenly so happy and different than you were before. I also love the tree of life back here. I kind of look at it as a family tree, which is like this beautiful ability that you get where, there's these chains, these patterns that are passed on from generation to generation because no one knows any better, that they're passing it on until they've already passed it on, because parents, what they learned as children, they don't know any better. And then usually in their, late teens and early 20s is when a lot of people have children, and they haven't really done a lot of self-reflecting yet. So they've already started raising their children and imparting the stuff from the past into their children. Later, they're like, oh no, well, it's already in there, and they've already passed it on to the grandchildren. So there's this patterns of things that happen. But with this message, additional message that comes with this card is that you have this ability to break those chains. You have that power to break those chains. And so this is not only for your own family tree, but because of the chains that you're breaking, those habits, those beliefs, those abuses, whatever it might have been that are passed down from generation to generation, you have the strength and the power to break those chains, and that impacts generations to come, but also the people around you we talked about. They see you breaking chains and being brave enough, and that courage you talked about in here too, stepping forward and making those changes, that they also make those changes. So beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and you have the Wheel of Fortune. So I was going to talk about this in the beginning, and so this is definitely them telling, like, yeah, we do want you to talk about that. The Wheel of Fortune has this amazing message that comes. I know this was the 10 of Pentacles. This is the number 10, which 10 is endings and new beginnings. So I love that the last two feathers on the little turkey are all about endings and new beginnings. But the Wheel of Fortune kind of started talking about it in the beginning, that you are this soul before you come down here, and you meet with the creator and all of the backup team, and you choose when you're going to come into this game and when you're going to leave this game, and you choose the avatar that you're going to be with all your strengths and weaknesses and your weapons. Like when you play a video game, you choose all that stuff, right? And then you choose all of the experiences and the things that you want to have happen while you're down here. And that's what I call all the fated events. There's so many of them. The relationships, the situations that happen in those, that happen at work, that happen in the world, all these things that come across your path, come on your path on purpose, for a purpose. And so you do have all this stuff that's going to unfold in your life, but your avatar still gets to choose what story it applies to whatever comes its way, because it still has that free will, and it's going to choose what does that event, that fated event that happens, how are you going to let that impact your life? What are you going to let it mean about you in your life? And then you also get to choose what emotion you're going to feel in each moment. So are you going to choose an emotion of extreme fear or extreme unconditional love, or something somewhere in between? So your life does still get impacted by your free will, even though there's all these fated events and these things that are unfolding and coming through your life as well. The big message I really love that comes with that is what I mentioned, that you realize with all this stuff that's happening, that life is happening for you and it's not happening to you. So that helps you feel like life is not this drama train that's out of control, about to jump the tracks off and fly down into a gorge and explode, right? This is more of a monorail where it's on this track that it cannot go off. It's a smooth ride. It can go fast speeds at times, and it can still go smoothly, and it has all its designated stopping points, and that's that feeling of smoothness and quietness instead of this rattling and thinking that life is happening to you. It definitely transforms and allows you to see things in a whole new way. So again, I like these endings and the new beginnings that it brings in for you here. And then lastly, for the beak, we're going to pull a card here from the Sacred Creators Oracle. Just see what the final message the Creator has for you that chose number 1. All right, Creator, what's your final message for our Aries that chose turkey number 1? All right. So you've got 2. So I love the accept and receive, which is card number 24, which is the 6. And this really reminds me of the 6 of Pentacles that you received. So we're going to put that like this. And then you got you are light. And that's number 56. So we'll make it look like that. It's not too bad of a turkey. So let's see what messages come to these for you. We'll start off with number 24. So this is the essential meaning is learning to accept, love, and praise. Accepting your worth in order to bring prosperity into your life. Accepting where you are today with a fierce knowing that things are improving. The self-care message talks about an inability to accept the gifts that are coming your way, a need to believe in the value you offer, resistance to receiving praise or love. So we definitely talked about those. It says it's time to accept and receive, sweet Creator. Learn to graciously open up to all of it. The praise and the compliments, love from others, help when it comes, and unusual or unexpected support that confirms the universe is opening up for you. Receive it. You are worthy. Know that it may not look exactly as you imagined it would, but rest assured its arrival is imminent. As you move toward your dream, look for serendipitous encounters with people who already know the way, and remain open to the idea that accepting an imperfect short-term situation is not the same as settling for less than you deserve for the long haul. Sometimes the most potent magic can be found in the unplanned pit stops. When we try to control exactly how the universe delivers our wishes, we can miss the small miracles that arrive in their stead. Be open to receiving remarkable alternatives and suggestions, and an extraordinary outcome that is better than you imagined it could be will happen. Ask yourself, can I do, be, have, love, or live better? Challenge yourself to accept and receive more for your beautiful Creator self. And ask some questions here that you can contemplate. What do you need to receive more of in your life? Are you allowing others to help you? How easy is it for you to reach out and ask for a helping hand? What type of person would you love to meet today? And how could they help you on your journey? Beautiful questions. And then number 56. You are light. The meaning of this is that the light that vibrates from the core of your being. You are a light worker of love, and you have pure energy. The self-care message is opaquing your light so that others are comfortable, hiding your power, not wanting to be seen, fear of judgment causing you to contract. Yeah, so limiting yourself and pulling yourself back instead of being this light, this master that you are. It says at the core of your cells and your atoms, you are tiny strings of vibrating light energy. This light interacts with other lights around it and emanates a signature that is only yours. And your unique vibrational energy is needed in the world. Lightworker, you are needed. You will be the beam of light who casts luminous hope into the shadows. You will be the counterpoint, a brilliant crack in the veneer, a flickering of inspiration when things get difficult. And it's time to nurture and protect that light as you devote your life to something bigger than yourself. Work your soul's directive in any way that you can. Offer kindness to strangers on the street and radiate love, healing, and compassion from wherever you are. Even the line at the grocery store can become your own laboratory of light. Bring your fierce mission to serve into a role or position that doesn't call for servitude. Show us how to do it with more love. Trust that your light will be accepted even by those that don't understand it, because through shiny eyes and a warm smile, you can bring your soul to work and light up a room with your presence. And the questions for this one, because this will help you with, when it mentioned your soul purpose, if you're like, well, I don't really know what that is. What lights you up? What makes your soul float? What feeling lies in the center of your soul's calling? How do you know you're a light worker? In what ways are you sharing your gifts with the world? In what ways are you opaquing your light? Does your ego hold on to any fears of being seen or judged, or of being too big, too awe-inspiring, too self-centered, or too successful? How can you shine your light anyway? I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to leave the reading at there. Definitely, this gratitude for endings, gratitude for all this beautiful fated events that have brought this mastery, this message of self-mastery to you, remembering that you are light. You are more than this human being. I love this for you. Just know as you go through each and every moment of every day that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, and I love you too. You have an amazing Thanksgiving period of time, and gobble, 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 right? You hang in there and you take care. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. All right, my Aries, if you chose Turkey reading number 2, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from these archetypes, cards from the Wild Unknown edition. And we're just going to see what we're going to start off with about what can you grow with gratitude. One more time here. Okay, that is going to be right there. They're like, nope, we're done. We're ready to start. And so you have the Queen. And I love the picture here. We're going to put that right here. We're actually going to be building a turkey with cards through here. It's not going to be a perfect turkey, but it's going to represent a turkey. So we've got the Queen. And let me just get to that one here first. So this is the Empress, the Mother Queen, the Sovereign. So it says, like her counterpart, the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into petty, contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. Picture the Queen of Hearts off with their heads, right? If the King is the ego, the Queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus's bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the Queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be the benevolent leader, to embody the Queen, is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal Queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. It also says, read Cleopatra's monologue in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, Act 5, Scene 2. Then read about Inanna, that's I-N-A-N-N-A, Tara, T-A-R-A, and Hera, of course, H-E-R-A. It says, the Queen does not accept the hand of a prince, but claims the throne, knowing the king draws near. She's a magnet for the fully embodied masculine and entertains nothing less. And when you're in the light side of this energy, that's the embodiment of grace, courage, resolve, stillness. And when you're in the shadow energy of this, then we're in that energy of being vain, wrathful, self-righteous, and demanding. You can go deeper into those energies. It also recommends Nikki, Nikki, Giovanni's Ego Tripping, Nina Simone singing Stars at the 1976 Montreux Jazz Festival. So if you want to understand the energies more of that card, then you can do that. So when we're asking, what can you grow through gratitude? What I feel is that there's this gratitude for this side of you, this duality that exists when you're grateful that you have a choice, whether you're going to be in the shadow side or the lighter side. Also, there's this, it's about being grateful for these, the queens that you have experienced in your life, because we all have, strong female energy in our life, no matter how people identify as male or female or whatever people identify as. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine. We all have feminine, masculine inside of us. So, this is about being grateful for all the queens that you have experienced in your life, whether they were the Queen of Hearts off with their head kind of experience like in, Alice in Wonderland, or if they were this amazing, graceful, presence in your life that helped support and grow, that brought you unconditional love, didn't bring you the fear. So there's this gratitude that's coming around there, and we're going to dig in more here, of course. We're going to pull a card here from this Crystal Medicine Oracle. This is going to be the head of the turkey. It's going to be a big head, but we're just going to pretend that the turkey head is closer to us, right? Perspective-wise. The body's far away, the head's closer. So we'll see what medicine the creator wants to bring in with the gratitude, for, of course, we're easily grateful for the amazing, queens that were in our life, but the evil queens, as you call it, I'm kind of seeing all those Disney characters now, all the evil queens, being grateful for them is where our challenge lies, right? So we will see what comes from that. Let me just one more time here. All right, so what do you want our Aries that chose our turkey reading number 2 to know? What medicine? Okay, there we go. And you've got, teacher. And wolf is the animal medicine, and the crystal medicine is Shatukite. I'll let you see that. I'm totally murdering it so you can see that. And this is card number 30, which breaks down to a 3, which is the Empress, which is talked about as well. So I love that synchronicity that comes with that. Let's put that right here and we'll see what medicine this brings. But it totally makes sense that when we're grateful for those challenging individuals in our lives, we realize later that they were our teachers. They were showing us what we wanted to see about ourselves until we saw it, because all the triggers that are happening within us all bring wonderful information, because our feelings are flags that something can be looked at inside of us. And so our teachers will keep showing up in our life until we see and hear the messages that we wanted them to be persistent and show us until we saw them, right? So I love that, this message that comes with that. Excuse me. So you've attracted this card into your awareness today as it's time to connect deeply to your inner teacher. There's a saying that states, if you know the question, then you know the answer. In truth, everything we need to know lies within us, and at every given moment, we're able to tune in to this inner wisdom for guidance and knowledge. Excuse me. We're all connected to the collective consciousness and all-knowing universal energy, and within this energy, all truth is held. You are your biggest teacher at this time. You're also being called to teach others from this space, as it's part of your life's calling to share your knowledge. Do you often look for answers outside yourself? Yet you know the answer is within you? Do you feel doubt and a lack of trust when it comes to listening to your own guidance? Do you feel life naturally teaches you through your experiences, right? Do you feel a passion to share your knowledge? Have you been pondering whether or not to follow the path of a teacher? This is a confirmation that you are the teacher and you have everything within you to follow this path. You're currently learning some big lessons, and soon you will share this knowledge with the world. Through conversations, books, social media, or even in a workshop setting. Either way, it's time to honor your inner teacher and share your wisdom with the world. If you've been asking for a teacher to come your way, know this can also be a sign that your teacher has arrived. And I know one of my teachers, I still remember her last name was Kruger. I didn't know her first name because back then in grade school, it was Mrs. Kruger. She was our math teacher. And she was one of the hardest, toughest teachers I ever had in my life, but I learned so much from her. In fact, when I went from, I think I was middle school into junior high, I was put in a advanced math class because of her teaching. And I kind of feel that is the kind of thing that you experience. You have these really tough cookies in your life that have brought such wonderful teaching to you. And yeah, it was rough in the class, but afterwards you're grateful for that and you're able to teach others because of what you were taught. The medicine for the wolf says, the wolf is a well-respected and well-loved animal that belongs to the Canidae, I probably mispronounced that too. It's like the canine family, right? Which also includes our domesticated dogs. This beautiful creature is known for its traits of loyalty and intelligence, and for its deep understanding of family and respect for community. The wolf follows a wise inner guidance, a powerful intuition that influences its actions. The wolf has much to teach us about living harmoniously within a community and about the strength of true leadership and the teacher. The wolf brings many traits that can support you in achieving your greatness. The wolf is the animal totem for the teacher and has come through to assist you in stepping into this powerful role. And then that crystal name, that I'm not going to murder again, that aligns you to your inner teacher. It assists in bringing leadership qualities to the forefront, and it helps you to master your abilities. So if you look into that crystal, and you don't even have to purchase a crystal to absorb its power. We have such strong ability to even just see pictures of it, and our intention of reading about it and learning about it brings in that energy to us too. But if you also want to, you feel inclined to have one in a piece of jewelry or like a stone or a crystal like I have, that also helps you focus in and remember to focus in on that energy as well. All right. So I am also going to pull some cards here from the Everyday Tarot. And we're just going to see what else the Creator wants you to know about growing your inner teacher, growing this amazing ability by being grateful for the teachers that you've had, these I'm going to call it the evil queens that you've had in your life that have taught you so much about life. Even some people teach you about what you don't want in life, right? That we learn so many great lessons the hard way, right? Those are the lessons we remember the most, and I think we learn the most from is the hard way lessons, right? All right, one more time here. And these are going to be the feathers for the body of the turkey. So we'll see here, Creator, what else do you want our Aries to know that chose this number 2 reading? Okay. And that one. Okay, perfect. So your first feather is the 2 of Swords. And this is a beautiful card because swords are all about our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, our attitudes, our expectations. And of course, where do we learn that from? Is from our teachers, right? But what I love is that this is so fitting in with this message of that you are your greatest teacher and your inner teacher, because this would be like knowing that there's two sides of your mind. You have the outside, let's call this one the outside influences and all those opinions that come to us, that as children we accept them and take them on for ourselves. But you see she's blinded, you see there's water behind her, you see there's a moon. This is your intuitive knowledge, because this is when you close your eyes and you connect to the moon energy, which is all about getting into the subconscious, attaching to your intuition, into your inner knowing. That's about connecting to that. And so this is definitely this message of, in any moment you have a choice to connect to that human's conditioning side of us that we've been conditioned with. Again, all these popular opinions of how things should be, popular opinions on how you should feel about situations. And when you realize there's more to life than that, that you're this higher being, it's talking about when you connect to your inner self and your inner higher self, you connect to all this higher knowledge. And, it mentioned that you're this part of this kind of like this spiritual internet. You have all this connection to the higher knowledge of all the creator, all those beings that are outside of time and space, those beings of unconditional love and light that can see the whole picture of how everything fits in together and how everything intertwines. There's so much amazing knowledge we can connect with. And this is when we close our eyes, we can see higher, because we're not judging it by all our senses and everything we've been conditioned to think and believe about a situation, and we see things from a different perspective. So I love that with fitting in with your teacher here. Yeah. And then you have the Five of Cups. So you can think of these cups here, these spilt cups are the evil queens, these emotions and experiences that you've dealt with in the past. And it is important, sometimes we're taught, don't focus on those, turn around, look away a bit. Focusing on those is where we learn. Those are our big lessons, right? So you can reflect on those emotions, because cups are our emotional side. You can reflect back on those and see, okay, what did I learn from that? How did I grow from that? And with this new awareness, seeing them not as evil characters, but seeing them as teachers in your life, you might be able to see things in a whole new way as you look at things from a different perspective and understand, okay, I felt that way because of this. These are my triggers. Like I mentioned before, how our emotions are flags that something can be looked at inside of us. These are the things that we can go look at. And I also love that the Two of Cups are what are behind us. And again, along with this Two of Swords, understanding there's two sides of you in your mind. You have like these two, you have like your human mind and your higher mind. Here you have your human heart and your higher heart, knowing that there's more than just the two of you. And I love the Two of Cups message, because for me, the Two of Cups is like your human self joining hands with your higher self. When we just have our human awareness, then we're in chaos, we're in fight or flight so much, and the world, we see it in a completely different way, because we're just wandering around through the maze, feeling lost, feeling chased, feeling attacked, confused, right? But when our higher self, which sees from above the maze and sees how things work and where the route we're going to go and when you join together, then the journey you have hand in hand becomes just a whole different, beautiful adventure in this world than it was when you were just feeling alone, right? And so I love this, because it is like, yes, look back at what you've experienced, realize that you're not alone and that you're in this journey with your higher self, your higher heart, your higher mind. And then you'll eventually go across this bridge and go to this palace over here where you feel abundance and you have this whole feeling inside because of it. So definitely these are like teaching moments of your life, reflecting back on it. Yeah. And then you have the Four of Pentacles. Pentacles are your outside world, and this is about your worth, because I really feel like this stability comes in when you are focusing in on your inner self, because you can see that your true worth lies in your heart. That's why this Pentacles here, you have your thoughts and you have the outside world that you walk on that has all their beliefs on what worth is. But you find this balance within, and you find your higher worth. You find out that you're more than the validation of all the outside world. And that is something that our evil queens teach us in our life too, is that you are still here. You have survived every challenging moment in your life, or you wouldn't be here right now seeing this video, right? And so they do teach us that you're not as weak as you've been taught. You're more stronger than you'll ever believe. And, you know, our teachers teach us that. Yeah, because here's the Page of Pentacles. So this does show pages are messengers, so you are going to be getting messages and signs from the outside world. So you are going to be getting some communication, whether it's, you know, you asking for a sign and Spirit gives you a sign in the outside world, or, you know, you hear a conversation from someone and it answers your question. You're going to, when you ask of the higher realm, they will bring you, you know, messages from all sorts of places. So sometimes, like if you, like the Page of Swords would be like the, just answers dropping into your head. You know, the Page of Cups would be, you feel emotional answers. You feel emotionally like an empath. The Page of Wands would be, you know, receiving messages from Spirit in your spiritual realm. But Page of Pentacles is you're getting the messages through your senses. You're hearing it, you're seeing it. I don't know, maybe even tasting it or smelling it. I don't know. You know, I don't know what messages are, how they'll communicate, but they are very talented, and don't limit them. But just be aware that you'll be getting messages. This also has a very youthful feeling around the card, because pages were often very young children that going around doing the hear ye, you know, in all the towns and all that. And so this also is a message of going back to before you had your bubbles burst as a child. You know, when we're very, very young, we think the world is full of possibilities and there's all this opportunities to be everything. You ask a little kid what they want to be when they grow up, and they're like, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be a brain surgeon, you know, I'm going to be, you know, an Olympian, I'm going to be an alien. You know, there's like no limit, because you haven't been taught to limit who you are. And like it talked about your you know, understanding who you really are and who you know, your purpose and where you want to head. You know, this is like this renewed feeling of anything's possible. You go from feeling limited in that anything can only unfold this way, to where you expand and you're like, I'm going to allow life to bring me my dream in whatever way it wants to bring it. Yeah. And then you have the Three of Cups. Normally this is about celebration and community and that type of thing. But for me, it also is a very special card, meaning this is our spiritual posse, all those beings of unconditional love and light. They're here to support you. And especially with this Page of Pentacles, these both appearing here, just a very strong message that they're like, yep, we are here to love you and support you, and all those questions, we're going to be bringing you oodles and oodles of confirmations in the outside world. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're going to bring this amazing confirmations and synchronicities to you in your life. So just take deep breaths, stay calm, and keep your eyes and ears and nose and tongue and hands, all those senses, keep them all honed and ready, because the messages are coming. So I love it. And then lastly, what we're going to do is pull a card or two from here, from the Sacred Creators Oracle. And this is going to be the beak for our little turkey here. The final message for this pick a card today. Okay, I feel like this is one. Is there more than one? these are the two. Going to be both sides of the beak. So the first one, you have make a mission statement for your soul. So definitely, I love this because it was talking about your mission and what you're wanting to do. So identifying how you want to be a teacher, how you want to express your experiences to the world, however you want to do it. It's like make a mission statement on what you're doing. And that's card number 58. Put that there for now. And then you also got the good kind. So it's the good kindness, and that's card number 35. So let's see what message comes here. I'm going to read the good kind first. That's what I'm getting drawn to. So the energy around this is bringing love and kindness to your situation, honest and fulfilling work, acting from the heart, the bounty of a job done well, doing the right thing, serving with love, finding joy in the simple pleasures of life, seeking simplicity and goodness in your solution. It's a lot of what we talked about there. The self-care message for this is, you might have this need to put others first, time spent defining the good you bring to the world, a need to stop judging and accepting others as they are, being the change. So all that stuff is things that you can reflect on for yourself. But it says, sweet spirit, why are you working so hard? Really, what do you hope to gain in your current situation? Money, security, notoriety, love, acceptance, worthiness, growth? What are you working to find? Alongside whatever word your subconscious mind served up for you, add these two words, goodness and kindness. Allow these good old-fashioned vibrations to cut through the fog of your worries and let them lead you as you do the work. We get a massive energetic upgrade when we witness and partake in simple, virtuous gestures, and we undervalue them all the time. Allow them to be an important part of the solution. Goodness asks you to seek simple joys, to unplug, and to do something because it's the right thing to do, not because of what you will gain. Kindness asks you to help someone out just because, to look at potential instead of just flaws, to listen with an open heart, to witness without judgment. Modern society can often paint these virtues as naive, superficially light and love, or even insincere. But whoa, my goodness, genuine goodwill and selflessness always open the most rewarding doors. Try some good and kind on for size, because they may be way more fresh and alive than you remember, and they are always, always the good kind of undertaking. And then the questions it asks for that is, how can you lift yourself by lifting others? It's time to do the work, the good work. What does this mean to you? How can you shift focus from the metrics, the tech, the marketing, the drama, and the complex, and find a simple option that is rooted in kindness and goodness? I love it. So we're going to put that one down here as the lower beak. And then we have card number 58, which is make a mission statement for your soul. So now you know, when you answer those questions about the good kind, you find the kind of work you want to do, and then you make the mission statement around it, right? All right. So this is your soul journey, finding meaning in life and work, guaranteed success and happiness. The self-care messages for this is a need to ensure you're on the right path, believing that happiness comes after success, chasing money and material things. So just like this card is talking about. Yeah, so I like that believing that happiness comes after success instead of being able to be happy in the moment with what you're doing. That does connect us back to old beliefs that I can only be happy when these things happen. But you can be happy for no reason at all, and then no one can take away that happiness. So it says, let go of that big, overarching life purpose thing and make a mission statement for your soul, whatever that looks like today. Don't get tricked into spending a lifetime trying to pinpoint the perfect, be-all and end-all goal. Simply move toward what makes your heart happy, and you will be perfectly poised for soul purpose success. Sacred tasks aren't always logical or rational, and they are certainly not going to fit squarely into an old school template or life plan. They come from spirit, right? From spirit. You will recognize them by how propelled and inspired they make you feel. If you feel any anxiety for not having created your path yet, that's because you already know that you are meant to be doing something greater in the world. The beauty here is that you can start anytime. Ask yourself, what's my sacred why? Underneath money and success and stability and beyond independence, creativity, and inspiration, why do you do what you do? Imbue your mission, your why, with passion and knowing. Find satisfaction and meaning in what lies in front of you today so that you can build the rest of your success from there. I love it. And it says, write your mission statement. What do you want to focus on? What are you passionate about? What do you want to accomplish? And who do you want to become? How do you feel compelled to help? What motivates you to change? So I love this. So definitely focusing on gratitude for the teachers, the evil queens that have taught you so much about life, that have showed you what you don't want in life, and have challenged you, to really search and find out what it is you want to teach the world, what you've learned and how you want to express that to the world. Just be open for those messages coming from spirit, because they are definitely made themselves known that they're going to be talking to you. So I love this for you. Just know that as you're going through every moment of every day, that you are unconditionally loved by the creator of all things, and I love you too. You have an amazing Thanksgiving period this month here in November, and just know that I just love this, though. Just know that these evil queens happened for you, on purpose, for a purpose, and this definitely is this awareness that's coming around your purpose. So I'm going to leave it at that. Just know that I will definitely be in touch very soon. In addition to these readings, I do all sorts of other readings, weekly readings, monthly zodiac readings, and all those types of things. So be on the lookout for those, because I'm sure there'll be more coming out very soon. You take care now. All right, my Aries, if you chose the turkey number 3, then this is your reading. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from these Wild Unknown archetype cards. And I'm just going to be focusing in to see what can you grow through gratitude. One more time here. All right, Creator, so for our Aries that chose reading number 3, what do you want them to know that they can grow through gratitude? Okay, this one on the top here is going to be the one. You've gotten the Shadow. Dun dun dun. It's an old TV show. Only the shadow knows. All right, so let's take a look here and see what energy this brings in here. Brushing up on my Roman numerals. Here it is. All right, so the shadow, it's the unspeakable, the unwelcome, the denied. Although every card in the archetypes deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that the shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through effort and achievement. However, it's typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is the very source of shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole. Rather than getting to know the qualities and content of our shadow, we busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is denial. When this card appears, it's time to take inventory of those things you've been denying. When the mind responds with, no, anything but that, you're touching your shadow. Find support for this deep inner work and move toward the shadow with patience and compassion. Also says, in the shadow of the gods are the very gods themselves. That's a quote. It says that reflect on this statement by James Hillman in A Blue Fire. What do you despise about yourself? By answering, you move toward a shadow. It says, contemplate the following scientific observation. The closer an object, a person, a place, or community, is to the light, the longer the shadow it casts. I love that. Beautiful awareness. Yeah, and that you can't have a shadow without light. When you're in the light energy of this, you have revealing unconscious aspects of the self in the world. When you're in the dark side of the shadow, then you're denying unconscious aspects of the self and the world. And to go deeper into this energy, it says, look at the Owning Your Own Shadow by R. Johnson. So you can do that. I love this because what this is telling me for this reading is what you can be grateful for that will help you grow is to be grateful for your shadow. And I know, like, our spirituality does teach us that, once you start getting spiritual, you must destroy and kill your ego, your shadow. It must be eliminated. But our shadow is our friend. Our shadow is a piece of us. And so one of the big lessons that we get to learn in our life is to be thankful for our shadow, because it is the brave piece of us that was willing to separate itself from the whole so that we could experience this humanness of our lives, right? To feel limited, to feel powerless, to feel small, to feel all those uncomfortable emotions of fear that we don't feel on the other side as our powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being self that's made of unconditional love. It chose to be able to be that piece of us that is unaware of our higher self, to experience of all that. So it's like a superhero, and when we look at that and are grateful for our shadow instead, then it's this amazing relationship that we can build with our shadow, instead of, like I was talking about, instead of avoiding it like it's the plague, we actually move toward it, embrace it, because it helps us so much on our journey. There was this vision I once got where there's this vehicle, which is like our human body, and it started off on this journey, and there's this nanny that's driving, and our little soul is in the little baby seat in the back seat. And the nanny is keeping us alive. The nanny is trying to keep us from pain. And so it's going off-road, it's taking us all this adventure, right? And we're growing and we're getting bigger. Now we're in the, toddler seat. And then we end up and we're, big enough where we can just sit back there with a seatbelt and not have to be in one of those safety seats. And then eventually we're big enough where we move to the front passenger seat next to our ego and our shadow. It's kept us alive. It's kept us growing. It's kept us in this adventure and kept us going. And then eventually we swap off, where we'll drive for a little bit and the shadow will take a rest and we go back and forth. And so it goes to that place where maybe even we end up staying in the driver's seat, and the shadow moves to the back seat. We don't throw it out of the car. We don't need to throw it into the trunk. We let it rest. We're like, here, here's some headphones. Put those on with some soothing music. Here's the little eye cover thing to block out the light so you can go to sleep and rest. And our shadow can have rest and quiet times, while our spiritual self and our higher self, is more in charge of our life. So that's the kind of relationship, that we can have with our shadow. All right, and this is going to be the body of the turkey, and then this is going to be the head of the turkey here. These are the crystal medicine oracle. We're just going to see what medicine the Creator wants you to be aware of in regards to this gratitude growing for our shadow and what that brings for our lives. What can I grow with the gratitude for my shadow? All right. So what do you want our Aries to know that shows? Whoa. Okay, so it's going to be this one. Yeah, we got angels and spirit guides. Upper world is the medicine, and the crystal is angelite, which makes sense, and the number 2. So yeah, definitely what I love about this, what grows is our awareness of the other world, of the upper world. The 2 shows us that, like I was talking about, that there's 2 of us in that vehicle. There's our ego and our human side that reacts out of fight or flight and all its conditioning, and our spirit self, our higher self. And so as we grow that appreciation for the shadow and not resist it, we really connect, and we're like, yeah, there's 2 pieces of me that are existing in this human experience, 2 characters of myself that are existing in this body and for this journey that we're having here. So let's see what other information comes through for this card for us. But yeah, that definitely makes sense, right? Your higher self and your shadow self. You have attracted this card into your awareness today as a sign that your angels and guides are reaching out to you from the spirit world. Throughout your life's journey, you have spirit guides and angels guiding you from the other side, offering you love and support in times of need. Have you been praying for guidance? Are you feeling lost and not sure which direction to take? Have you asked for healing and are not sure what to do? Have you sensed a presence around you and are not sure who it is? Please know that your angels and guides are currently with you more than ever, and they have your back. They're constantly sharing their love and wisdom, and it's time for you to slow down, tune in, and feel their nurturing presence and to hear their wishes of love. These powerful beings are a higher aspect of yourself, so open up to this powerful wisdom of your own soul and higher self. Make sure to take some time in meditation to connect deeply to this energy and know that your prayers are being answered and you are never alone. Beautiful. I love that. Yeah, definitely. This is all about connecting to the other side. That's what grows when you realize you're more than just the shadow and you're grateful for that shadow. You stop investing energy in battling your shadow and you move towards connecting and understanding yourself more deeply. Because the shadow, you can see like this in this card here, you have this black and this white here, right? And what that does is we come down here, you might be asking, well, why do we have a shadow at all? Why do we even put ourselves through this? Well, when we're on the other side, if we're only beings of light, right? And we don't realize that we're beings of light because we're surrounded by light. But when we come down here and experience the darkness, then we understand more fully who we are by experiencing what we're not. And I kind of use an example of like air. Like we're breathing air all the time here as the human, because that's how we stay alive, right? We don't realize there's air. We just know it's all around us. But when you go under the water and you're like 10 feet under the water and you go, air is up there. I see air because I'm experiencing where there is no air that I can breathe. and more appreciative and more knowledgeable about what air is, right? Same thing, a fish doesn't know it's probably breathing water because it's in water all the time. It's only when it experiences air, it's like, what is this place of unwater, right? And that's, why we come down here. And so this is this beautiful relationship we have. Then the medicine of the upper world, it says the upper world is one of the three major spiritual worlds the shamans visit to receive messages and healing. It is home of all the higher vibrational beings. To journey to this world, you must enter into a deep state of meditation and set an intention to travel to the upper worlds. Shamans would call upon their power animals to guide them in these worlds and then allow their spirits to rise to the higher planes of existence. Celtic shamans would enter this world through the tree, knowing that the upper branches delivered them into the higher realms. You can also enter into the upper world by imagining you have wings and are flying, or you're in a hot air balloon. As long as you journey upwards, you will be able to get there in whatever way works for you. The upper world is a non-reality word that resides in higher vibrational planes, so when traveling there, it's best to relax and trust the process and allow your intention to guide you. When in the upper world, you can expect to meet angels, ascended masters, spirit guides, light beings, and all souls of the higher angelic energies. It's time for you to connect to this world and receive wisdom and healing. So beautiful. And then the crystal angelite that aids you in your connection to higher realms, it acts as a conduit to receive messages from your angels. It also assists in receiving healing from the angelic realms. I love that. In fact, I have some angelite right here, and we're just going to make it the eye of the turkey. So there you go. Beautiful. I am loving this. So we're also going to pull some cards here from the Everyday Tarot and just see what additional message the Creator has for you regarding what you can be grateful for. What can you grow through gratitude, right? So these are going to be the feathers that are going to go on the body of the turkey. Okay. Nope, they said not those, but that one. And these two right here. Okay. So you have got the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups, this definitely represents shadow type energy, right? Because it's the focus on the spilled cups, the loss, the emotions, because cups are emotions. These are the emotional feelings, the things that have left you disappointed, all those fear-based emotions we talk about of the shadow. And so I love this card coming up for you because it's important, we come here to experience these emotions so we don't ignore them. We do, like it mentioned in the card, the shadow, you ask yourself questions and face your shadow, right? And then behind it is the Two of Cups, which the Two of Cups is kind of what I was talking about here with this number 2, that the Two of Cups card by itself is this joining together of your shadow side and your spiritual self joining hand in hand and going on that experience. So this is reflective of, you experience those, but when you have this connection, you experience looking back on those emotions in a totally different way. Because when you realize that you chose to come here to experience what you're not, to more fully understand who you are, then you don't look at those spilt cups as have happening to you. You don't feel victimized by it. You don't feel, so much fear around it. When you visit it with this beautiful cohesion now, as you connect and embrace your shadow with your higher self, then you face it with unconditional love in your heart. And then you can kind of see that contrast between what you felt before and what you feel now about that situation. and then you have the Two of Wands. So this is definitely about those two energies, understanding that you do have two different ways that you see the world. Wands are the fire energy, so it's your drive, your ambition, your aha, inspiration, but also represents your spiritual energy. So I love that this spiritual energy is coming in, and you kind of look at the Two Wands like a pause button too, and it's important to pause and reflect on your life. To pause. You got two here, you've got the Two of Cups here, you've got the number 2 here. This is a very important time in your life to really slow down, take a deep breath, look at your shadow side while also connecting to your higher self, because it's this beautiful awareness, and in doing so you do see the world in a whole new way. Like I talked about here, you have this new drive, this new appreciation for life. This is that spark where you find this passionate feeling towards living instead of feeling like you're just surviving. You begin to live life. You begin to live more in the moment, not looking, that I'll be happy in the future when such and such and such and such happens. Like, you learn to be happy in the moment now. Yeah, here you go, because here's the Star card. You got, this is your true higher self. This it's like Aquarian energy, which has to do with pouring out the living waters upon the planet, because in doing this you are embracing who you are, who you truly are, this bright light up above here, right? But you see, it's the dark sky where you see yourself, and so in this darkness you understand who you really are. And then you also, because of this type of energy in here, you're able to fill up and it overflows out to the world. Whereas there's like the Temperance card. Yeah, it's the Temperance. Yeah, I think it's the Temperance card that shows a lot like this, except it's not pouring out onto the ground. It's 2 cups. They're standing up and they're just pouring it into the cups. That's like when you're learning that balance and learning that containment. But this is like, you can't contain this beautiful love and joy, and all that energy and all that essence of who you really are just fills up and floods out. And that's what brings hope into the world, in the shadow times, in the dark nights of the soul, when other people are going through dark, shadowy times. When you have this connection, you're able to shine bright, and you're able to point people to the star that they are too, which is amazing. That's what brings us hope, right? Because living this life of shadow here, if we didn't have that ability to connect to our higher selves, we wouldn't want to live, 40 years, much less 120 or so, right? So this hope can come in. This amazing connection can come in. Yeah. Here you have the Ace of Swords. So swords are about your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, and all that. But the Ace of Swords also brings your truth. It brings capital T truths. Whereas our shadow introduces us to small t truths, all those opinions and expectations, all those supposed tos and shoulds and need tos and have tos that come from the outside world that are fed us, all those are small t truths. But when you connect to your higher realm, we connect to the higher, that's where you find the capital T truths that are eternal, not the small t truths that are rooted in fear, in fight or flight, right? Or that are temporary and ever-changing or unstable truths, right? And then you have the 10 of Cups. So this is about, just joy, fulfillment, emotional overflow, definitely, which is what happens when we connect to this beautiful, beautiful, bright light, right? When you connect to the unconditional love of the creator of all things through spirit, what more do you need? You just feel whole and complete, everything from within. So all the stuff on the outside becomes extra, and you feel even more abundant instead of it ever not being enough, because all those expectations are always, and in disappointment. because when you're looking for your value and your happiness outside of you, that's unstable and ever-changing world, and your happiness feels unstable and ever-changing. But when you find your love and your happiness from within, then that's what rolls over out, and then everything is extra in the outside world because you have everything you need from within. So I'm loving this. And then lastly, for the beak, we're going to pull a card or two cards from the Sacred Creators Oracle and see what your final messages are. Hey, Creator, for our Aries that chose turkey number 3, what's your final? Yep, there they are. Boom, boom. So your first one is fearless expression. So, yep, definitely what we were talking about, and that's card number 55. And then you also got follow through. That's card number 23. So let me read number 55 first. And the energy around that card is your soul laid bare, self-confidence, knowing your heart song and singing it clearly, accepting your value, self-worth, speaking and channeling effortlessly, finding your courage and the fearless expansion of your joy, right? Your joy. The self-care message is it talks about looking at how you're hiding your brilliance, unnecessary fear and self-doubt, not speaking up, diluted expression, or saying what others want to hear instead of what you long to say. It says your throat chakra microphone is buzzing because you've got something to say, so don't bottle up your thoughts or your opinions at this time. Your success is deeply connected to your self-expression, and the universe will support your dream as you step onto a new path of personal power and positive assertion. This is an exciting time for you. When you're communicating your desires to others, it's time to be mega honest. In this way, you will delve into your own unique form of confident articulation as only you can do. Your fearless, authentic transmission is going to be your gold. You will attract like-minded people who flock to your honesty. It's possible in palpable, in person, and on screen. Know that once you've unleashed your voice, it will be really hard to shove it back into its quiet corner again. It's expansive by nature, so allow it to stretch and grow as you try new things. What are you ready to stay? Step up to the microphone and begin. Yeah, and there's a difference between being mega honest and being a douche, right? So we can be mega honest with love, and that of course is going to be accepted more than if we're mega honest and being brutal, with the intention of being brutal. So they wanted me to mention that. They have questions that come from this card as well. It says, if you could share any one belief that you hold on to and feel relief in having shared it, what would it be? How could you become even more authentic in your expression? What nature of yourself is being silenced? Why does your throat chakra feel like it needs to play a bigger role in your life? When you're ready, make a list of things your throat chakra microphone is begging to communicate. So good, reflective questions. And then you've got the follow through. So, it's like fearless expression, but follow through. And the energy around this is an unfinished idea that needs finishing. Allowing yourself to say it's done, following through and nurturing your relationships. And the self-care message for this one has to do with a need to tie up loose ends, leaving your energy scattered in unfinished business, not doing what you said you were going to do. So some reflective things there. feel like I'm supposed to make it like the turkey is talking because of the throat chakra. So there you go. Was your big, beautiful masterpiece left unfinished? A book or a symphony? Something you began but didn't fully birth? Right now is the perfect time to revisit an old dream that was always meant to happen. It's a perfect time to follow through with people, projects, promises, and ideas. Tying up loose ends will allow you to interact with integrity and to keep all your energetic resources intact. When you set out to start something new, you place a bit of your energetic self, time, money, energy, intentions, into the hopes of that new beginning. Leaving a project floating or unfinished can niggle away at the back of your mind long after the idea has been forgotten. That nagging voice that says you didn't do what you said you were going to do can drain you energetically. And that guilt can even become a sense of diminished self-worth or lack of accomplishment. If your heart knows it's not meant to happen, it's time to officially close the energetic ties that bind. What do you need to finish? What needs closure? It's time to reclaim all those energy strings so you can use them to weave your brightest future. I love it. And then the questions for that card is, what unfinished business could you close off that would make you feel buoyant? Are you following through and following up with your relationships and your connections? Are you better at starting or finishing things? How can you use that knowledge to plan your steps effectively? Love it, love it, love it. So beautiful. Yeah, definitely. What can you grow with gratitude? Definitely this gratitude of your shadow allows you to connect and understand more fully of who you really are, and allows you to finally reach this point where you feel you're able to express who you are. You don't express your shadow, this passion and these things that you're asking yourself about your throat chakra and what you want to share with the world. That's not of the fear. If you're sharing fear and you're putting more fear out there, it feels ugly to you. In the moment, your fear ego might feel like, okay, I love the control feeling, but that wears out very quickly because that's not your essence and that's not who you truly are. This is who you truly are. And that's what you truly are longing to express to the world, like this star, right? You're wanting to connect to who you really are in the darkness, accepting both, and then filling up and letting that beautiful love communicate and flow out to the world. And I love that because I always look at the throat chakra. If they stood up straight and held their arms to either side, their arms would be like within their throat chakra range. And so your throat chakra is also what actions do you take in sharing that unconditional love with the world, not just through, typing and texting and, whatever we're putting out on social media, in addition to all that with speaking and communicating that, but it's all the actions that we put forward to the world, because a lot of times we will communicate more strongly by what we do than what we say, right? Because words are cheap sometimes. Actions do speak louder than words, right? Someone can say, oh, this is how I believe, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but everything you're doing doesn't tell me that, And so that is this beautiful message of expressing the true, authentic yourself, being mega honest, mega authentic, and again, not being a douche about it. So use your angel light to connect to your higher self in that higher realm. You have a beautiful, wonderful support team behind you, and you are never alone. And just know, as you're going throughout each and every moment of every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, and I love you too. You have an amazing Thanksgiving period, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. You take care.